Hello everybody. Today we're gonna do a comparison of the Nikon lens 50mm 1.8, and we're gonna take several shots and basically see at each aperture how it looks. Now, so let's see. This is the first one at 1 point. By the way, so these are the lessons that we'll be comparing. It's going to be for each lens we're gonna have one video because otherwise it would take too long. We'll probably use sometimes some comparisons, like we'll probably compare the 85 to the 105 or the 20 to 300 to the 70 to 200 and so on. I mean, obviously, we want to be able to show people who haven't invested in lenses the comparison between the different lenses. So let's take the first shot. So this shot is at 1.8. Okay, so what I did is I set it at aperture priority because the light is going to be changing, the lighting condition is going to be changing. So this is 50 millimeters. So I wanted to look at the metadata. So 1/100th of a second, f1.8, 50 millimeters, ISO 400. So I'm going to be taking these pictures relatively quickly. I don't want you to we'll do the comparisons afterwards. I just thought it would be fun to do this. So now let's take one at 3. We're not going to do it at every single aperture, so let's take one at 3.5, and now we'll do one at f4. Again, these are the most popular f-stops. We'll do another one at 5.6. Eight is usually the sharpest for any lens, so we'll do one at 8. We'll do one at 11. And we'll do one at 16. So we want to evaluate several things with each of these shots. So let's first take a look at the 1.8. So what I'm going to do, first of all, this is the least expensive lens that Nikon has. It's just over $100. And look what a beautiful, 1.8, what a beautiful bokeh you have. So, the blur background. Now let's see how sharp it is. In all of this, I focus on the teeth because there is more contrast. It's single point focused. This is the other thing. I did it on autofocus on purpose because that way you can see how well the autofocus works. So let's zoom 1 to 1. Okay. So pretty sharp. I mean, I wouldn't say super sharp, but it's pretty sharp. So now let's take a look at 3.5. You can see, I purposely put this jar behind it so you can see the difference in depth of field and how it changes with each aperture. So this is 3.5. Interesting. You see that it's much sharper at 3.5 than at 1.8. Let's do a quick comparison here so that you can see. This is interesting. So you have here at 1.8 and at 3.5. So at 3.5 is a lot better than at that at 1.8. Now this is 4 versus 3.5. It looks very similar. So I'm using 3.5 kind of like the benchmark because it was the sharpest one. So let's now take a look at 5.6. Again, these are all zoom 1:1. Oh, by the way, all of them, the focus point is in the middle. Okay, so you can see 5.6 is also very sharp. Let's see, 8 is usually the sharpest. Is f8 or f11. Usually in the manual it tells you which is the sharpest, but typically it's f8. So let's see, f8. Yeah, this is very nice. Now f11. f11 looks really sharp. Let's compare versus f8. Yeah, f8 and f11 definitely are very sharp. Let's see f16. So it seems to me that f8 and f11 are the sharpest. Let's see 3.5 again. You know, there is a little bit, even though it's on aperture priority, you can see that the exposure is a little bit different. f4, 3.5 was what I thought was really sharp. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see in the eyes, definitely f8 and f11 are the sharpest. So, you know, for this lens, again, this is the least expensive lens that Nikon has, but I would say it's pretty sharp. Now, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to do some comparisons with some other lenses, and but at least wanted to give you a benchmark of these lenses. Now, let's look a little bit at the bokeh. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 1.8 as the benchmark. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So you have here 1.8 and 3.5. Let's look at now 1.8 and f4. Yeah, that's what I wanted to try to show all of them, but let's see. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show. Okay, well, it's a little bit hard to see, but I just want you to see the background. You see the background obviously looks very different between all of these. Let's close. Obviously f16 is not very relevant here. Of course it's gonna have, you know, this is f11. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show. So here you have 1.8, here you have 3.5, f4, f8. So, you know, very nice. I think that this is a lens, you know, if you're in a budget and you haven't bought a prime lens, this is a lens that I recommend. By the way, 50mm on a full frame camera is basically what would be your normal, you know, like if your normal eyesight. Okay, so that's the, and then for a 1.5 crop for a DX camera is 75mm. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. We're going to be doing more comparisons with other lenses like I showed over here, but this is the first of a series of lens comparisons.